right, we'll just give the applicants a minute or two to enter the meeting.
Just throw the question order up in the chat. It's Rodriguez team first, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe while we're waiting, just looking at that site on 112, and yet right now, from the back of, or from the face of curb to even the existing building is all concrete flatwork right now. So to maybe in part answer Greg's question, it's more or less an existing condition. Okay.
Were they here and then left? Missed that?
That's what it looked like.
Hello, Marcelo.
Hello, good afternoon.
Are we waiting for any of your other team members to join us, or will it just be yourself?
No, we're waiting for the project architect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Craig's frozen. You can hear us, right, from the tower?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I muted you once just because you were loud.
Really?
Yeah.
Just waiting for a couple other members to join us here.
We were loud?
I guess so.
Oh. Fine.
Marcelo, do you know if they're having trouble joining or?
He just joined.
Did I miss that? Oh, Earthfree?
Yes.
Pronouncing that correctly?
Mhm.
Is it just the both of you that will be joining?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then we can get going. Welcome to the Edmonton Design Committee for the formal DP presentation of the E. Rodriguez Mixed Use Building. We would like to remind you that this is a public meeting. We have all received and reviewed your submission package. Your team will have 10 minutes to present, and then we will go virtual roundtable of the committee members for questions. After the presentation, the committee will deliberate and respond to you in writing within 48 hours. I will now turn it over to you to introduce your team and your project.
Thank you. So I'm Marcelo Figueira, Associate Principal with the Green Space Alliance. With me today, I have Burfrey Tayman, who is the Principal of Demo Architecture and Project Designer. So Craig, we don't have a presentation. We're going to go through the package. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to share it on your
I
end?
can share from our end, or if you want us to.
If you do it from your end, that's easiest.
Okay. Just give me a second.
We see your screen.
You can see. Okay.
Yep.
This one I resize it. Okay. Okay. So good afternoon, Edmonton Design Committee members. This project is a little infill development in Weekend Wing on 112th Street between 102nd Avenue and 103rd Avenue. We propose to build 30 units, approximately 30 units, and a few parking spaces in the back and meet most of the bicycle parking. I want to go over a little bit of the site context here, but I think most of you now have reviewed our package. We submitted this package a while ago, and at that time was before the PGA bylaw was approved by council. So this site was zone direct control, and now everything has gone through a rezoning to standard zones, which is much better for everyone. But other than the zoning aspects, there's some things that I like to point it out to the committee about the context. So I think most of you know 112th Street very well. I used to live pretty close to this site. So this block. So if you're coming from South Jasper to 104 Avenue, which is like a lot of people would do this on a regular basis, who live there for shopping and other services, you're gonna notice that there are like not many residential buildings on this block. Actually, there's a couple on the first block close to Jasper, and then there's only one residential building on the block where the site is located. And that creates a little bit of a challenge for the designer and for the developer. Most of the existing buildings are either old commercial or institutional, and they don't, let's say, they don't contribute too much to the streetscape and to activate like the sidewalks and so on and so forth. So this is one of the initial thoughts that I wanted the committee to consider in relation to how this project was designed. The second challenge that we saw here is that we really have a narrow lot, which is difficult per se for a 6-story building. But you notice, like here in this picture and the other context pictures that we have, on the south side, we have an institutional building that has like a blank wall. It's a 4-story building, blank wall. It created a really problem to design a proper interface and something that is attractive to the future residents of the building. And then to the north, there is an 8-story building with very reduced setback compared to the standards that we have today, like any 6-story building or mid-rise would have at least double the setback on the abutting property line. And on top of that, the building itself, this neighboring building has many of their living room balconies facing south, which kind of create like an inconvenient private situation to the future residents of our building. Having said that, I think we kind of created like a good solution in terms of how we oriented the units and also how we utilize what we have, like a very narrow street frontage, to kind of maybe encourage some of the neighbors in the future to do a little bit of a renovation, do something to create a more attractive streetscape. The building, other than this, on the west side, contribute a lot to what is now the practice in Edmonton to have all the servicing, parking, and so on and so forth be positioned in the back in appropriate locations and size. The other aspect of this location that you find is that many of you that know this neighborhood further west, you see a lot of residential buildings, 4 stories, walk-up apartments, some old houses. But this block is actually the edge of the neighborhood boundary with downtown. And so it kind of creates like a pattern where we have the park, the Railtown Park, and then a very old a residential development that is also a direct control for many, many years. But then since it is an edge condition, there's not a lot of appetite to create active frontage. So 111, mostly very unwelcome, I would say, sidewalks, and 112, other than when you get to the corners that you can actually turn to 103rd, go to the parks, or go to the bike lanes, or walk to transit on the north and south. It's very challenging given the context of those old buildings. Now, Urfi, would you like to talk a little bit more about the design of the building itself? This is what I had for the context. Urfi, can you hear me?
You might be on mute.
Urfi, you muted, I think. I think we lost him, Greg.
Okay, did you want to keep going, or?
I have to share the screen again.
Sure.
A second.
Oh, you just rejoined.
Yeah.
Hello?
There we go.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You're a little quiet.
Okay. I think I'm having difficulty with my microphone here, but hopefully that's good enough. They can hear me. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, just to tell you a little about the building. So the proposed building is 6-story structure. Immediately to the existing 3-story building to the south, with no setback. Secured outdoor amenity space will be with vent seating for the building occupants. Is situated on the north side between the existing 8-story condo building, and residential and office access is directly located on the street, and then outdoor bike parking is situated between the office and residential entrances. Yes, as Marcellus mentioned, it's tough for us to design because the site is really narrow, but we managed to make it work, and not sacrificing the security of the people, and also providing eyes on the street for this users during the day and also at night. The building is clad with durable and maintenance-free building materials. The color we chose are balanced with light and accent colors that will be timeless for years to come. Also, more glazing will be provided towards the west and the north, connecting the street and the outdoor play area. Residential balconies will be of glass and solid materials, providing articulation in the building. Lastly, at night, the building is lit with wall and ceiling lighting, and the lighted signage will be installed with no impact on residential units above. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, so I hadn't had a chance. So I think he was mostly talk about the last page of the package. We have all the design elements. So I'll stop sharing the screen for now, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Sure. Thank you. Sorry, give me one sec. Thank you for your presentation. We'll now transition to the roundtable portion of the meeting. And to start us off, Greg.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. The only comment I've got is like the front yard of the property is all concrete, and I know that's the city's property. Has there been any kind of discussion to see if there can be any softscaping put in front of there, or all the adjacent buildings have grass right up into the sidewalk? So this one seems paved over entirely.
Okay. Yes. When there will be shrubs and planters that will be put in the front. Actually, I can share my screen here. Okay, so this is the existing concrete walkway that city has built, and on this area we have a bike parking, which is directly right between the entrances for the up and the residential units. Yeah, that as we mentioned, the site is really tight, but we will be providing planters with shrubs in front of this, and another one here too.
Were there any discussions with the city about possibly altering the existing city sidewalk where it's like almost like a driveway?
Well, the city has mentioned that to keep the existing sidewalk here, but it's we're open. We can work this if the city will allow us to modify this.
Yeah. So, Greg, just one follow-up thing. The trouble here is that we actually have a shorter setback than the other buildings, and mainly because we need to accommodate like all the operation of the building in the back, right? So that's pushing the building a little bit forward. And you're right, like this is kind of at the old pattern where those buildings, they don't have any kind of a curb appeal, but they do have like large setbacks as opposed to like a more attractive design elements in the facade.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be fair to push a building any further back in order to do that. I think the challenge I see is just with the existing city sidewalks, not necessarily your approach, but it would be nice when you look at the adjacent buildings where, they all have sufficient grass in front right up to the sidewalk. So I don't know what the former purpose of this whole paved area was, but I wondered if you'd spoken to the city and say, would you be open to like removing some of this concrete and making it more grass, more softscape? Because
that could happen like to the development agreement, so that there are some like offsite things that you already know that we have to do it moving forward the development permit. We can discuss with them and have that consideration on what it would take to like remove some of that. But I don't think this sidewalk itself can be changed. It would be like mostly like where is it right now, and yeah, have those walkways to the front of the building, main entrances.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's worth a conversation when you're doing the development agreement to see if there's any opportunity to get a little bit more green space on that city property. If you have to do upgrades already, maybe that's one. That's probably better for both groups.
But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That's my comment.
Thanks, Greg. Nick?
First of all, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, great. Thanks, Marcelo, for your presentation. I've just got a question. I actually had trouble. I'm wondering if you could take us through the materiality of the building, because when I zoomed in, it's all fudge. I can hardly read it, so I don't know whether it's me or whatever. But that's just number one. I had a problem trying to read the text on all the plans we received. The second I'm going to speak to, I first of all agree with Greg. If you can sort of reduce some of that concrete area at the front, I think it'll be of benefit to the occupiers. But probably the main concern is around the parking that's sort of squeezed in at the back and encroaching on the 3 meters there that could be landscaped. Maybe you could speak a little bit. We're seeing a little bit of this type of parking that looks really odd and maneuvering in and out. So just wondering if you could speak to that as well.
Perfect. Can you?
Okay, so yeah.
Sorry, I'm just going to share my screen again because there was a problem in one of the pages, I think, with the landscape plan. But in terms of the facade elements, I can see like pretty clear, even with like a lot of zoom. So I'm just going to put on the screen if people also had trouble with that while we talk about it, this question.
It could just be me, Marcelo. I'm not the greatest with IT, but when I zoom in, it's all fudgy. I can't actually read it.
Yeah, that's okay. But I think it's worth it to put on the screen so everybody can see that clear. Can you see that now?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, right. Sorry, it's just too fast here.
Yeah, I wish that happened with mine.
Yeah, so Urfi, can you just like quickly go through the materiality so they can answer Nick's question?
Okay, so the materials, it will be composite metal panels with aluminum trim edges. So maintenance, yeah, it's maintenance-free materials. And okay, on the main floor, we're using stone cladding that mimics making it more attractive on the main floor. And we're using also colors like different colors. I think we have options about 4 or 5 colors here to create playfulness on the building. And the balconies will be treated with glazing and solid materials with option for for planters by residents of the building. During summertime, they can put some plants in there. The main floor commercial mostly glazing, as I mentioned, giving more transparency towards the street, and also it creates an active frontage towards the street, and also to the outdoor play area on the north side of that building.
Does that help, Nick?
Yeah, the resolution's a lot better here, so thank you. I guess the main one's around the parking at the rear that's just encroaching on the setback where landscaping can be in that interface between the two buildings. I think it's a strange layout so that it looks like you have to reverse out of the parking area. Maybe you could speak to that a little bit.
Yes, as I mentioned, the site street site 50 foot setback, and we just I also not our concern is security towards the lane. So what we're proposing is like if you go to the go back to the elevations, Marcelo, showing the lane. Yeah, on the sides you can see there's small openings that allow us for little landscaping with shrubs and trees. But the idea here is how can we make the area more secure, especially towards the lane. So what we're proposing is like we enclose the area. I mean the laneway. If you have I think on page on page 301, Marcelo, on the bottom left corner.
Yeah, I just want to mention, so here is like the outline of the building to the south, right? So this is like it is what we're gonna see there. And then this landscape here is actually but in the property line where they also have like the back of the parking. So we kind of are trying to screen a little bit like where is close to our building. And then when we moved further to the east, which is the other plan. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so in this plan, like you see like what's happening here, right? But when like because of the width of the site, like there's those pockets landscaping close to the parking spaces, and then actually the transformer and the waste collection area do take a lot of space, right, on close to the alley.
So do you think, Marcelo, it's overdeveloping the site if the parking's been, it's pushing the mark a bit?
Well, I mean, the parking is minimal, right? Like if we, like you have 30 units, this mostly is going to be like have one accessible parking spaces, and then like we also take space because we need the area beside it, and then the other ones are just regular visitor parking. Not a lot to contribute to the residents themselves. This would be mostly visitor parking, like within 30 units. Nobody's going to have like a privilege to have a parking spaces here. Like,
yeah, I'll let my other colleagues speak to it. And
yeah,
but thank you. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Nick. Raj?
Yeah, hey, yeah, I kind of have the same question as Nick in terms of the logic behind the parking stalls. You got 30 units and there's like 4 or 5 of them. And the configuration seems odd. I'm not sure, whether you go with 4 or 5, would that make a difference in terms of the situation there? And the other question I have is, how does the access from the parking lot into the building, is it all at the same level? Like, is it coming out of the, I guess, the south corner? You seem to have a door that seemed to lead into the building. Am I reading it correct? I'm thinking from a wheelchair access point of view.
Yes, the building is actually enclosed. The access is there's a roll up door from the lane, and you won't see. Okay, if you're standing on the lane, you won't see the cars. You only see is just a complete building. And there's a reason for that one is security.
Yeah, but it's at the same level. I think that is that what you're concerned about the.
Yeah, I just wonder, somebody coming out of that disability lot, coming in with a wheelchair, is that same access? So they just go through the door? I mean, you got a stairwell there. I presume that's pretty much leading to the second floor, I guess.
No, you can enter the main level, like to the door to the south. If you want to go up, yeah, and then you have to take the elevator, because the other option to go up is only to the stairs, like with at the center core, right?
Okay, so they're at the same level.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, basically I was wondering, like, the way the parking stalls are laid out, it's going to be hard for somebody to pull in and out, but that's.
Yeah, it's very tight. Actually, there's it's only like meeting the minimum distance between the parking spaces in the center. So it's like over here. Otherwise, it would be kind of impossible to have parking on both sides.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Raj. Mindy?
Thanks, Craig. Thank you very much for your presentation. My questions were actually already covered, so that's it from me. Thanks.
Thank you, Mindy. Karen?
Hi, thanks for the presentation. Good to see you, Marcelo. I really don't have too much more to add. It was really just the access to the parking and getting out of the parking would probably be my main concern. I do like, it took me a minute, but I do like how you've done that party wall and then abutting the adjacent building. So yeah, I think that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. David?
Hey, Marcel. Thanks for the presentation. My comments are very much like the others. And Nick, it wasn't you. I also had difficulty understanding sort of the site development approach because of the level or quality of the information provided. And I, as I said, I do have a couple of concerns. One is that rear parking and the arrangement of it and its functionality, both for vehicular and pedestrian movement and connectivity. It really does not work in my mind. The other was sort of building on Nick and Greg's comments about the frontage. And I think it's, even with the copy that you've now, better resolution copy that you've provided, I think there's very little information on that main entrance and the transition and sort of the design features that are being incorporated, sort of the materials, the site furniture and features that sort of create and sort of enhance that connection to the public realm and the street. And then the only other area of concern that I noted was on that north amenity space or corridor design, and to understand sort of how the form and function and the quality and the level of comfort of that space would work, especially being on the north side. Is that really just a corridor, Marcelo, or is it to be like used as a functional gathering or amenity area for residents?
So the reason, like at the beginning of the presentation that I mentioned, the south side, it's a blank wall built
Yes. Yeah.
at the
I
property line.
understand that.
So
Yeah.
it's very challenging to have something facing that. Like
Yeah. No,
so,
I understand that.
yeah. So the north side is really the I would say the best opportunity. I think the more, like, since it's only 3 meters wide, the more you put in, like, it's gonna be a little bit cluttered, right? In my opinion. And so it's supposed to be like a clean space where, in like, once the residents like experience this space, that could be like benches and other things. Like the light is on the wall of the building, which helps. There's a few planting there, but I think the intent is to be like a very clear space that will help to, I think, disguise that it is a small space. Actually, it's not a large area, right? That's the
Yeah. But the way it reads right now is actually as a corridor and not really as, you know, a sort of gathering space for residents. But I think it could be a really cool little space, even though it's 3 meters wide. You know, it could be a really neat little space for
how
residents.
would you define what's the width of the corridor? Like, if you're talking a corridor within the building is like 1.2 1.8 meters, like a 3 meters, like most of the buildings that are being designed under like the new standards, right? The new zoning that we have, they only going to have like 3 meters size setbacks. There's difficult to say like a 3 meters is a corridor. I think it is a narrow.
I'm just suggesting that the design that I see in plan here, it's being treated more as a corridor than as an active gathering or amenity space. That's all I'm suggesting.
Yeah. I know it's not. So I understand now where you're coming from. But what I'm saying is that I think the space needs to be further utilized so we can see like what are the preference of the residents. Like, so for some of them, it might be that, well, we need some more seating area here, or some of them want some other places where they have like almost like tables and picnic area or something like that. So until like we're not promoting a certain type of utilization of this space. I think it's more about like experimenting with what the residents are gonna like, and like they need to feel this. Like, you have to remember that we still have this building on the north side that's only 3 meters away, and they have like very large balconies and living rooms there, which is some people might feel uncomfortable, right? So we're not kind of saying, well, this is how this space is going to be utilized. This is like a space to be tested out, I guess.
Okay. Well, as I said, I think there's a great opportunity to really create sort of a unique little sort of experience and a place for guests, for residents to gather and not necessarily affect or be affected by those to the north. So anyway, thanks.
There's one thing about the parking that I think it's worth mentioning here. Like, since you said something about like how the access and pedestrian access to from the parking to the building. So you gotta remember here that all these parking spaces, they are actually tucking the building, right? So there's already like a weather protection there. But other than this, like the distance between those parking spaces and the main door, if whether you're gonna go up to the stairs or going to the main area in the lobby, the distance is less than the distance that you walk if you park in front of the building and walk to the main door of the building, or any buildings here. It's way less. Like you pretty much walking like 2, 3, or maybe most like 3 to 4 meters, so to speak, to get to that door, as opposed to if you park in front of the building, you're gonna walk a lot more. and still gonna walk under something that is protected from the environment. It is paved, so I kind of don't see the same way. I think in terms of the pedestrian access within the site, right, from the parking area.
Sure. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, David. Shay.
Hello, Marcelo and company. I've got a handful of comments here to run through with you guys. I won't belabor some of the points too much, but I'll try to rephrase them as well in another way. So again, not to belabor parking too much. I think what most of the folks are trying to get at is trying to empathize with one of the tenants. So in order to park your car into the space, you'll approach it from the lane, wait for the garage door to come in, and then you'll drive straight in and you'll park into your parking lot or your spot. In order to get out, I imagine you'd have to hit the door and reverse out the entire way of the parking lot into the lane. So it's just an awkward way to get in and out of a space. Basically, it's straight in on the front, straight in out the back. So I think that's where the functionality comes into place. You can't turn around within the parking space with it being angled like that. So I think in general, we just to consider how users get in and how users get out of this parking space is kind of what everyone's getting at. And in support of that, separately to the functionality, can you speak to the treatment of the edge of the parking lot? When I read the space in elevation, I read it as the parking lot is kind of underneath an overhang. So there is a secure door and an overhead door, but it feels like a dark, potentially unsafe space for users if people can hop the space by the transformer and get into this parking space. Is there any security around the border of the parking lot at all? Say, for example, a fence or other form of security?
You mean between the transformer and the parking? I kind of
either between the transformer and the parking or between the property line and the front of the parking there.
There's a fence on that side, and that encloses the parking.
Okay.
Actually, I can share this is the one that's being go through. Marcelo, can I share my screen? Let me see.
I think if there's a provision for a fencing, that answers my unclarity there.
And it encloses some all of the property on the east, north, and south.
Okay, we'll move on from that one. I think that one's addressed then. One of the other comments I had, again, maybe in support of David's comment here, looking at that outdoor amenity space on the north side of the property, it's a very narrow space between two pretty large buildings. And say you are trying to sell this space to a tenant, how would you imagine that space being utilized? I see there's a couple of benches here, but who's going to really sit between two really large spaces and have very little access to daylight or to any views here? I feel like potentially this amenity space for tenants could be moved elsewhere into the project, potentially maybe onto the roof where you've got a lot of solar space or solar panels. But yeah, how would you describe how users use the space? Is it just to sit and to kind of be? What else would you use that amenity space for?
Yeah, the amenity space in the main floor is intended only to the office area because there's a separate amenity area on the roof deck up on top of that second floor on the south side.
Okay, so the ground floor amenity space and service of only the The commercial. Okay, that also makes a little bit more sense because if tenants wanted to use it, they'd have to come down outside, walk access. Okay.
Yeah. I just want to go back to this parking. Like you made a comment about backing, like parking in angle and then backing up to the alley. Is that any difference between this arrangement and what you see like in a regular single detached home, like where you park in your garage and you have to back up to get out on the lane? Like, because I can't see this being different other than if I'm in my own garage, I'm parking perpendicular to the lane, but I also have to back up, right, to get out. And in this way here, in angle parking is even easier to back up. So I'm kind of not really sure like what is the issue backing up the alley to get out the parking area.
I think if I'm speaking on behalf of, I think it's more just like it's an awkwardness compared to how typical larger buildings like this are utilize parking. There's more space for folks to back in and to back out. And maybe it's a matter of quantity as well. You have 4 cars here, say two folks come in at the same time. You kind of have to juggle between who goes in and who goes out. But it is a fair point that single family housing does have a similar type of reversing. But again, it might just be quantity of the parking here versus just the.
But not even just single detached houses. Like if you see like those new row housing where the garages are pretty much like a continued building, most of them like have 2 parking spaces beside the garage with 2 parking spaces. When people getting out backing onto the alley, they kind of negotiate like the space, right? It's not like people are speeding through the inside the garage and getting out. So I kind of see this kind of a situation that it's becoming more common to this more tight urban environment that we are living in now, with all the changes in more density and so on. So again, it might just be me because I don't have problem backing up the alley, but I don't see like this being like a way where there's a safety issue here or something's going to speed up backing up and other people are beside. Like when I go drop my kids to the school, is the parking arrangement is the same situation, but the only difference like you back up and then you get out, you go straight, right? You don't have to back up to the lane, but there's still negotiation in the parking lot. And believe me, like parents, they when it's like drop off or pick up time, it's just congestion in the parking space, but nobody like have an accident because they need to be patient.
Fair rationale. Again, I won't. Well, the committee I think will take note of it, and consider the feedback. But that is a fair argument on your end. I do want to talk about a couple of other things architecturally in terms of the urban space as well. On this 3rd floor, you have an outdoor patio as well. It's built right up against the adjacent firewall. I was just curious if has there been any conversation with the property to the south to articulate or finish that or decorate that in any other way versus just having it remain as a white block wall. So for tenants who use that space, you won't see a white block, a sea of white block, or from the front entry, still seeing that kind of white block right next to amenity spaces. Is there any discussion to elevate that a little bit?
No, we haven't had any discussion with that property owner to the south. That building seems to be exhausting its livelihood. So
if I recall, I think it's student art studios, or like rental art studios, so there could be some opportunity for someone to decorate that. But again, for that space, both in terms of like its visible appearance for the tenants and then from the main floor, just I don't know if I would love to see blank white concrete masonry unit wall. On one side, especially for that tenancy. So if there's an opportunity to work the other property, that'd be ideal. But if they won't play ball, I guess there's nothing you can do. And then my other question is on the vegetation on the north side of the property. Again, these are two pretty large buildings. And I think a lot of the vegetation here you're showing pretty tall, even on the left-hand side of your screen there. Are you confident that the species selected and the quantity you have located in these pretty narrow spaces, both in the amenity space and north of the parking, are going to survive between the two buildings here with, again, limited access to daylight, I assume precipitation, as noted? I think there's lots of large pine trees, colanders, juniper bushes.
Yeah, so it's just unfortunate that we don't have the landscape architect today, like to talk about specifically on the species select, but primarily our goal is that we do want some kind of a screening there, because I don't think that building to the north does a good job providing landscaping on their site. I think they left that open on purpose to kind of create that openness that they used to have, and with a shorter building, which now it's going to be gone once we do a 6-story building. But on your point, I still think, like, in comparing the two buildings, massing and footprint, that building to the north is it's completely like out of the scale with our building. So we did have that orientation from the owner and from there and from Earthly to say, like, this, we need to have some screening there. Definitely, we don't want it to be exposed that much.
Yeah, I think I understand. I'm just concerned that whatever you plant there will die within a year. Considering, again, the lack of exposure to sunlight and precipitation. But I think outside of that wraps up the major comments I had for the project. So thanks, Marcelo.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shay. Neil.
Thank you, Marcel. I think you see the general vibe of the commentary. It's a tight site. It's very hard surfaced, but it's also a very urban site. So I'll say I'm less concerned about that. I tended to sort of the one small detail I just want to hear your thoughts on. I'm looking at the front elevation, and I'm worried about the signage. Are you, for those CRUs, they look tucked in under the balcony? How will you make sure that those businesses have the visibility they need?
Yeah, and that's a good point. I think this is still going to be a residential building, right? That the signage it has to be like a second play to the residential aspect of the building. I'm pretty sure, like, once the development permit goes for a signage plan, there'll be a little bit more treatment to whether this could be lit or make it like a little bit more prominent, but in a way that doesn't disrupt with actually the residential character. That's the main focus.
I mean, you're right. The main focus of the building is residential, but the street itself is a good, healthy mix. So I know you'll take care of it as you develop out the.
Yeah, but you see, like, it's I wouldn't even say like commercial, because to me those other buildings are more like institutional than commercial, and they don't have any kind of a curb appeal or attractiveness on the business, like to draw people to the main entrances or like some kind of a glazing to see what's going on inside. Like they're very secluded.
That I agree with you. It's an oddball street, and I think you're right.
Yeah.
It's evolving.
The building that you're replacing is certainly one of the more quirky and interesting on the block. But it's one block off of the major bike route through Railway Park. So I can see it getting more as it continues to fill in, getting more folks going up and down. So, I don't think there's any disagreement. I just think it's a question. You want us to make sure that those commercial units are really viable and they have this visibility. On that note, I'll pass it on.
Yeah, but thanks.
No serious concerns.
Yeah.
Thanks, Neil. Janice.
Thank you for your presentations. I don't have any further comments than what has already been said.
Okay, well, thank you, Janice.
Thank you, Janice. That leaves myself. I just wanted to ask about the position of that rooftop patio on the south side. Is there an intent to putting it on the level it's at versus a level higher where it would be above the building to the south and hence get a little bit or a lot more natural sunlight? Do you know, or I guess, do you know what the height is of that existing building to the roof deck? Is it 6 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet?
I think the idea is actually to try to get some more sunlight there, but Alfred, do you know the exact measurement of the height there?
Okay, it's about 3.5 stories. We don't have the exact dimension of the building, but it's about 34, 35 feet.
Okay. And my only thought is that if it was a floor higher, it would be above the building to the south. That being said, I think kind of depending on that height, it might be a nice sheltered space. I agree with Shay with Harcourt House being next door. I believe it's an artist-run center there. That would be a great opportunity for a mural on their building, which would ultimately kind of serve that space, so it's not that blank wall.
Actually, that blank wall, you won't see that because that's lining up with the existing building. What you're gonna see, we can raise that amenity space more than higher than what's on the existing, because there's an issue for fire separation and rating.
Okay. And then not to belabor parking, I do think that the parking, especially those landscape areas on the south edge of the site, will really struggle for anything. It is a kind of quasi kind of open, kind of closed space. It might be, and maybe just to offer kind of more concrete solution to the parking is what if the parking went 90 degrees on the south, because it is a very urban site and it's a very well connected site, and you may be able to get away with less parking. It's not like we have parking minimums to hit, so it may be that would open it up. I think kind of the landscaping on the north has a lot better chance with that wood fence to kind of be open. The south side is up against a wall. I think it just would be better off just to have that enclosed and fully safe and adequately lit. But I won't belabor that anymore. Other than that, I have no other comments or questions.
Actually, in terms of parking layout, we tried making it to 90-degree parking, but due to it will be worse than what we were showing right now. It would be hard for you to get out if it's 90-degree parking there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it was creating some kind of a tandem parking situation with then it has actually been negotiated between whoever is parking in front of other vehicles, and then we do need to keep at least one accessible parking space, which is kind of the other caveat on why would not the parallel parking be our preferred option there. But yeah. But thanks for your comment.
So thank you for your presentation. We will now transition into deliberations. Feel free to stay on the meeting, but we ask that you do not participate in the deliberations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much for all the comments and input. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, while I switch windows here, does someone want to kick us off with some thoughts? So one of the, I think the two big areas we talked about was the main entrance, connection to the street, enhancing landscape at the front. The north amenity space and the parking.
Craig, can you hear me?
Yep.
So I noticed in the parking we had the garages that shut down, and then we have fencing. I'm just conscious of whether someone can easily climb into this area and what that presents as a risk. Just maybe put that out there for consideration of whether there's a better job that could be done on it's sort of enclosed, but it's not enclosed. So, and I agree with that. Landscaping to the south seems like a waste. Like, why not just put some decent fencing or materiality on the south side?
And that's
Anyway.
kind of what I was kind of thinking too, is that it's not going to be lit. Does leaving it open kind of reduce the opportunity to have it well lit? It is that kind of quasi somewhat open, somewhat closed. I think they had a 6-foot high fence on the north.
Yeah,
you're right though. It's kind of like it's having it enclosed, and I understand it from a security point of view, but it also wrecks the visibility, the observability.
Also, from a SEBTED point of view, it creates a lot of I know Marcelo mentioned it was for visitors. I'm still trying to work out how visitors get into the garage space. Just seems a little odd, but anyway, it's an unusual parking situation. I just looking at it, it feels unsafe to me at how it's designed.
Nick, I think the thing I struggle with from a safety perspective with it is the visibility. Like if the fence was more permeable and not means it's being called up as a wood fence, like if it was a picket fence, etc., like a metal fence, that you still could have eyes within the space, versus something that's enclosed and you can't see. I think it deals, to me, it's a permeability issue.
I agree. If you think though, the buildings go over the top, you got two closed garages, and then around the sides where it's very narrow seems to be a fenced area, if I read from the plans correctly, that I'm guessing is maybe 2 meters high, maybe 2.5, something like that. If you look at one of the elevations, you'll see where they're expanding out to the 3 meter setback. You'll see a fence. It doesn't look that high, so I'm imagining someone could easily climb into this parking area. So then you have, the porosity issue just seems not right.
Yeah, I wondered too if that whole back wall and door would be better served by a more visible fence kind of gate scenario than wall and door.
I think the other big thing we heard there from the other committee members was in regards to that north amenity area I don't know if anyone wants to just briefly touch on that.
I would just suggest that right now there's not a lot of thought that's been put into that space. And I do think that it could be, quite a rich amenity space, even though it's on the north side of the building. I think there's some great potential, which, from, as I said, in my opinion, I don't see it right now in what's being presented.
Yeah, I think I would concur, David. I feel like there are lots of really good linear, thin amenity spaces, but I think the proposal with just some simple benches and some vegetation as well as a pathway just is the quick and easy version of it. I think there's other opportunities to explore lighting and furniture within the space to give it a proper amenity space feel for the users of this commercial space.
Yeah, I agree. Just kind of, even though it is narrow, there is an opportunity there to kind of create spaces. Being linear, kind of planter bench.
That's a good adjective, or it's a great descriptor. Yeah, you create space.
Talked about a little bit about the landscape species and plantings.
Yeah, I think that just had to do with the exposure.
Yeah.
I don't know, Craig, if we could add something though, like the city's property full of concrete, like they said they'd be open to talking with the city. I'd still probably put that down in this comment here just so that they try. I know it's off property, but like everywhere around there has softscaping, and that just doesn't seem like there's a lot of purpose to the concrete anymore there.
I agree with you, Greg. Greg, I did put that in on the first bullet.
Yeah, it's on the first bullet. If we're going to start to talk about bullets, though, just so we can share it on the screen, I'll make a motion of support.
Thanks, Janice.
I'll second.
I guess to Greg's comment, Greg, did that, the end of the first bullet, does that address what you were talking about?
Yeah, I didn't see it when I was first doing some editing. I see it now, 100%.
I don't think it was there at the start.
Considering we all kind of dwelled on parking, are we happy with how the parking bullet is looking?
I think it's sufficient, Craig. I mean, I'm not too sure I totally agree with Marcelo about the reversing out in your own garage. I mean, there's a different context when you've got different people in a pretty tight space. I'm not saying, it's just tight, but it's an urban setting, so it'll be interesting with the garage door and then going into a rear lane.
Peter raised his hand.
Yep, Peter.
No, sorry.
Oh. Are we ready to move to voting if we're good with the points? Or is Shay still typing?
Jay was doing some fine editing, wordsmithing.
Consider the need.
I feel wrapped up. Yeah, I feel like it's generic enough, not,
Yeah.
it's both generic and specific enough, I think.
I think we're good to go, Craig.
All right. Sorry, give me 1 sec. So for the motion as shown, for the motion of support as shown on the screen, we'll go in the same question order, comment order. Greg,
Support.
Nick,
Support.
Raj,
Support.
Mindy,
Support.
Karen,
Support.
David,
Support.
Shay,
Support.
Neil,
Support.
Janice,
Support.
and Craig support. You all. Still on the call. They're still on the call. We will wait for the next applicant to come online. Ashley, are you able to get them on, or do they have a time that we're waiting for?
Yep, we're on it.
And just maybe while we have a couple minutes, a reminder that we should limit our questions, and we can do to 2 questions only, and we can do additional rounds of questions as needed. And these questions should be for clarification. Generally, try not to get to the weeds a little too much. Feel like we maybe went a little long on that one. And I will throw the order up for the next one right away.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thanks. Can you
We're
hear
in.
us well?
All right.
Are you waiting for other people to join us or just yourselves in the room?
Just ourselves.
Okay, great. We'll get going then. Welcome to the Edmonton Design Committee for the formal DP presentation of the Park Allen rental apartment. We'd like to remind you that this is a public meeting. We have all received and reviewed your submission package. Your team will have 10 minutes to present, and then we will go virtual roundtable of the committee members for questions. After the presentation, the committee will deliberate and respond to you in writing within 48 hours. With that, I will now turn it over to you to introduce your team and your project.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your time. My name is Dinesh Burad. I'm the architect on the project, and I'll be presenting today. With me, I have landscape architect.
Yes, I'm Gilbert, the landscape architect for this project.
We also have the builder with us.
I'm Jim Pepin. I'm with JH Pepin Consultants. I'm building for the owner.
And we also have Steve with us who's looking after all the drawings and everything.
Yep. Steve Buggery, Precision Design, working close with Dinesh on this project.
So start presenting.
Yeah. I should, I need to open that first. Yeah, it is here. I'll share my screen. Can you confirm if everybody can see the screen, please?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now. And does it change for you?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Once again, thank you, everybody. We will review how the project follows the principles of urbanism and design excellence and talk about the scale and context. Just so everybody is aware, your presentation packages might be a little bit lengthier. We have shortened this version because we have to fit this in 10 minutes. So there might be a little bit of differences between what you may have with you versus what we are presenting here. Synchro Architecture is working on behalf of the client to seek development permit approvals for this multifamily residential rental apartment building. The building has 64 dwelling units. The project is in Park Allen neighborhood and it's located at 10906 69 Avenue Northwest. The site is zoned RMH 16 and the site is currently undeveloped. The project will encourage the city's vision to develop a high quality medium scale development and increase the vitality of the 109th Street corridor, following upon the city's strategic goal of healthy cities, urban places, climate resilience, and regional prosperity. To give a brief building summary, the proposed building will house 64 rentals. Plate is about 750 square meters. It's a L-shaped floor plates and it will go 5-story high to about 15.8 meters. The building will have a flat roof and which will aid in the stormwater management of the site. The proposed floor area ratio is 1.4 and we are meeting that. The zoning regulatory requirement is to have 45 dwellings per hectare minimum. We're definitely complying with that. We're going around 390 dwellings per hectare. The underground parkette has a provision of 24 car parking. And then it has bike parking for 64 bikes. And there are 4 accessible car spots and 7 bike spot accessible. Well, as you can see, the site is at the intersection of 109 Street and 69th Avenue. It's a corner site. As per the city's planning framework, the site falls under the Skona district plan. And as per the 109th Street design vision, the site will be under the 109th Street lower arterial roadway, which is poised for investment, for future growth, and for strategies. 109 Avenue, this one is an arterial avenue, which supports the citywide mass transit. Next.
We spoke about the location. I'll just go to straight to planning framework. Though there are no legal planning requirements on this one, we do have some draft SCONA plan which is to be approved that we have to consider for our design, and we also have the Envision 109 document to refer to. As per the SCONA district draft plan, the district's look and feel will change as development projects are completed throughout its redeveloping areas. Development and change will happen district-wide, but more growth and higher density development is expected in the district's nodes and corridors. Shifts in local demographics and changing economic conditions will also play roles in the shaping the district's employment and population growth. That is the SCONA district plan, and the experts of Envision 109. The 109 Streetscape Design Vision Report identifies transformational opportunities for 109 Street to make it more walkable, improve aesthetics, promote environmental sustainability development, and to support local businesses and provide connectivity options for all modes of transportation. The lower 109 is less prominent as a citywide destination and predominantly residential in comparison to the upper 109. Lower 109 features more softscape plantings in its boulevard furnishing zones and in its increased development setback of up to 3 meters. The desired outcome is an attractive yet more softened public-private street interface. Lower 109 streetscape should feature minimum setback of 3 meters, within which the development of small-scale gardens and plantings, front stoops and porches should be accommodated. These are the experts from the requirements of 109, lower 109 street vision. As you can see here, the site, this is the aerial view looking south on 109. This is the site at the corner of 109 and 69. It's an empty lot. You can see here. This is just providing some site context. We'll just look into some analysis of the neighborhood here. Parkland is a mature neighborhood, and the site is adjacent to the Violet Archer Park and the Parkland Elementary School. Parkland was designed after the English garden model with predominantly small-scale bungalows, semi-detached homes, walk-up apartments, surrounding a central green space at the heart of the community. The heart of the community is also surrounded by a school, commercial strip mall, a community hall, and a church. Parkland was developed somewhere between 1947 to 1970s, and the apartments were located west of the school and northeast of the Central Park. But now, recent developments, most of the lands are changing into apartment buildings and infill housing. Zoning. With the approval of the new zoning bylaw in 2001, all previously zoned RA7 land was rezoned to RM16, H16, that's medium scale residential up to 16 meters, 4-story high. And the FAR allowed is 2.5 to 3, allowing a substantial increase in the number of units. The community destinations around this site, we have churches, we have daycare, there are professional dental offices, chiropractors, there are retail shops like eateries, flower shop, there are health and wellness stores, etc. The addition of this multifamily will serve as an anchor and economic driver for the community's destination around it. Heritage resources, we looked into that. This Parkland, I mean, there is no historic resources or designated heritage resources in Parkland, but it was designed by Noel Dant in 1950. There are no natural areas systems in Parkland, and for development proposals, the site is located within the priority growth area of 1.25 million people. Growth. The site falls under the secondary corridor of the SCONA district, and there is no evidence of other proposals of this scale currently in Parkland. There are proposals on the opposite side of 109, but not in Parkland. Transit and LRT routes, there are 2 bus stops within 100 meters of this site. And this site falls under the transportation utility corridor as well. Urban form and pattern. Urban form is defined by the pattern of building height and development intensity. This site sits at the corner of community full of 1 or 2-story single family dwellings. Nodes and corridors. The site is located on the arterial roadway of 109th Street with the Spona district. And as per 2019 census, there are about 1125 dwelling units in Park Ellen, which will grow with addition of these rental units. The site has a convenient access to the number 2, which is Violet Park here. And then it has shopping just adjacent to it. Just north of the site is a shopping complex. Near the site is also the church here, St. Basil's Church. And then on this side is all single family residential. And yeah, that's just about the site. As I said, this neighborhood has like development spanning through all this city beautiful movement, the city efficient era. It has seen development through the wars and economic depression as well. And then we see a lot of modern housing as well, which has come up. And now we do see a lot of development along 109, which is predominantly like 3 to 4 story, commercial kind of development. So that's the St. Basil shares. These are the recent commercial developments in Park Ellen. And as you can see, these houses are all the houses in Park Ellen, predominantly, bungalows. And now the infills are getting into 2 stories. A lot of use of brick, metal cladding can be seen on those houses. Stucco is also predominantly there. And then we didn't find any example of multi-story buildings in Park Ellen, but on the opposite side of 109 in Queen Alexandra, there is a lot of contemporary new multi-family housing that's coming up. These are some of the examples of it. We'll try and understand the block here. So as I was saying, on the north is the commercial right next to this lot. And on the east, there is commercial, and then there is medium scale development, both on the east and the south here. And then on the west is all the single family residential. South is bound on the east and west. So again, that's the 109 and that's the 69 there. In the site, just to give the infrastructure there, the water line and the storm lines are available on the 69th Avenue. The city has around 350 liter per second water network available for fire flow. So that's a good thing. That's already readily available on the 69. There is no easements, caveats, or other restrictions, and this land holds a very clear and free title. Natural features, the trees, there's a lot of trees, existing trees there, predominantly elm and ash trees on the street side. Topography of the site itself, the topography of the site is kind of a little bit sloped, around 34 inches slope to the southeast corner. We did an environmental findings. The ESA phase 1 report was done, and there was no need to, there was no requirement to do an environmental phase 2. It was not recommended. Potentially, there are no environmental concerns on this site.
So I just want to jump in and kind of let you know you're at time. So if you want to take another minute to
Sure, yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so let's go quick. Landscape.
Okay.
Quickly talk about the landscape.
So as shown on the plan, all proposed plantings are suitable for some preconditions. You'll notice that on the north and west side of the building, the plantings are located beneath the parkade. So planting under this parquet will be designed in the same way as a rooftop garden. So I provided the detail when you see the package. And also for the 109 Street, I proposed a Japanese tree lilac due to its hardiness, given the limited space between the building and the boulevard. So specifying a larger tree is not feasible. So I chose a smaller caliper trees.
Thank you. We'll just speed up. This is just, we've done a CPTD evaluation and the design does meet, align with the city's vision for that CPTD through its fencing, lighting, landscape, and access control measures. This is the front entrance. The front entrance of this site is on the 69th Avenue, just to keep it away from the heavy traffic of 109, and also the fire department connection is on the 69th Avenue. So the main entry will be on the 69th Avenue. This is the basement plan. There will be a ramp coming down, and we have all this parking and all the bike parking here on the side of in the basement. We'll have the mechanical rooms there. The main floor will have around studio apartments, so the 4 studio apartments, 6 single bed apartments, and then two bed apartments. And then from floor 2 to 5, we have 6 studios, and rest remains the same. That's just showing the cross section of the building. Sustainability features will do both active and passive measures. We aim to go 30% above the baseline minimum for greenhouse gas savings. Active measures will be through LED lighting, heat recovery ventilators, service water heaters, high efficiency, highly insulated roof, high performance glazing, all of that. And then passive measures will be, durable and long lasting materials that we're going to use. We do take care of the main entrance and all the floors to be accessible through the hallway and the corridors and elevators. I'll just speed up, I guess. Integration of public arts. In Park Island, we saw that, there's a lot of people who do free library boxes out of their house, and we got inspired by that, and we're going to propose a free library bookcase on the southwest corner of the lot there. It will be a free bookcase for the community use. Quickly, if you want to touch base, Steve, on the materials.
Yeah, on the materials, we tried to limit the number of materials and color changes. Exterior design, we wanted to pick up on elements of neighboring commercial buildings with vertical lines and bring a sense of grounding the building with the use of brick and keeping all the colors complementary to one another without major contrast. And by using white, it lightens the building, but at the same time, the brick helps ground it and give you a sense of scale. So we're using hardboard siding for the white vertical profile and metal trims to match the longboard accent walls that we have. So the design was fairly simple and only several materials, as mentioned, were used. So and I think it's kind of a blend of newer design as well as some contemporary features as well. So I think it would be a nice fit given the existing buildings surrounding the site.
Yeah, it will be a good addition, for that neighborhood there, given the fact that there's all single family, I think, older houses, and this coming at the corner of 109 and 69 will definitely, it will be a good addition to the neighborhood. That I will just show you a few of these views. That will be on 69th Street front view. This will be the 109th Street front view, and at the rear corner where the parkade is in the back. That's the rear view. I guess we'll end there and we'll open up for comments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's move on to, that's right, let me just open up the order here. Janice, you're first.
Okay, well, thank you for your presentation. Can you just confirm the offsite improvements? I believe there's a few offsite improvements that need to be done in association with this project. I guess I'm just curious if they're limited to the 109th Street and the alleyway, or whether or not do they include any offsite improvements on 69th Ave?
No, on 69th Ave, it would just be the actual lot itself with the improvements with landscaping and cleaning up. I don't think the sidewalk has to be replaced there. Not to say that when we build it, it won't end up being replaced. We are showing the site on 4 sides. So we do have the 109th and the laneway included in our costs right now. But on 69th Avenue, we haven't done anything other than we would assume that we'll wreck the grass there and we have to protect the trees. So we will probably re-landscape that area once we're done construction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the lane will be upgraded. This lane on the north side, it will be upgraded to commercial alley. And then we are following the 109 principles and extending the walkway here.
Yeah, I do appreciate the connection from those patios, kind of front stoops out to that sidewalk on 109th Street. I guess kind of staying with the exterior of the building and kind of the interaction with the street, though I think that the vertical brick at the front main entrance draws your attention to the front, to the signage. I do find that the main front entry is very nondescript. It almost fades into that adjacent patio space, as the materiality in that location is still the same as that adjacent patio. So potentially I'd encourage you to explore maybe materiality or lighting or color or something that could help better define that main entrance. And it could also be done maybe potentially through some site furnishings, because I noticed there's only the bike parking at that location. So other than that, thank you for bringing this before us. I'll hand it back to Craig.
Thank you.
Thanks, Janice. Shay.
All right. Hello, gentlemen. Thank you for your presentation. Great location for some extra density in the city, and in particular, I do like the articulation of the form and plan. At least I think it's not a flat building, which I always appreciate that extra depth and texture in our urban fabric. A couple of specific comments though. Taking a look at the ground floor outdoor common amenity space, 2 things jump out to me. One, what is noted as a softscape or soft landscape common amenity space. I don't think you can technically call that a amenity space per the City of Edmonton bylaws, because it does not have specialty seating or specialty lighting there. It just looks like
No, we have, sorry to interrupt. It just came to our attention last night. So we did add some benches, couple benches here, couple benches there. We are going to redesign this area properly. So it can be used for passive recreation.
Okay, great. Well, then I'll still highlight a couple of comments I think I have for this area.
Yeah.
I think one is the area you guys have selected for the amenity space. It is all right beside the waste receptacles on site. And I understand that that's an open air waste enclosure. So if you're hanging out and utilizing this space for its amenity provision, it's right next to the garbage. Which isn't ideal. Same with the space above the parking, the parkade ramp. It feels like a cold space with what you've noted on the lighting plan. I think all that's provided there is just some specialty, or it's just some wall sconces. So if you read is designing that space, I would put in outside of just some benches, see how that space is utilized and how you can make that space a draw for folks and tenants with some specialty lighting there versus just some wall sconces.
Go ahead.
Actually, my recollection is there's actually light posts all through that area on the lighting, on the electrical plan, but I don't see the electrical plan in this package.
Wall lights.
No, there's actual light posts going down
around in that common space from what I remember from the lighting plan.
And I added 3 in here.
So they're supposed to be there anyway, so I don't know.
Okay, great. It's a mute point. You guys have already thought about it, which is good. A couple of other thoughts. I do echo a lot of the comments that Janice had on the south elevation. And one other item architecturally, looking at the south elevation in particular, some of the punch windows feel too small for the massing of the space or for the massing of the elevation. I think a lot of the elevations have this array and this grid that are working. I think just in particular on the south side, they feel awkward, especially because it's supposed to be read symmetrically between this Park Allen sign and this materiality exploration you have here. The two different windows feel odd and awkward, just in terms of their sizing. Outside of that, the other item in particular I'll note is on the north elevation. Similar to the south, I think the north elevation might benefit from having one other material added to it, particularly if this is where all the amenities, outdoor amenity spaces are going. And for folks driving southbound on 109, considering this is a corner unit right next to the alley, it will be seen a lot. So I know you've got that little element there that's adding some, it's a small gesture to help articulate this space. I think outside of that small piece, it's just a lot of white vertical siding on a pretty visible elevation. So maybe welcome some extra material exploration there. I think particularly adjacent to the amenity spaces to make them feel more special, just not being next to 5 or 6 stories of white siding. I'll wrap up my comments there, I think. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your comment. Just so you know, just before our meeting, we were discussing about this. The reason that whole white cladding is there is because there is a stairwell in that corner. We are going to swap the stairwell with the apartment in that corner, so maybe that will be taken care of.
We'll put some windows in there.
Yeah, that will add some windows and balcony. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Shay. Nick, you're up.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm going to echo pretty much what Janice and Shay have said, particularly just around the entrance feature. I agree with what Shay was saying about the windows, just trying to get some uniformity there. And with regards to what Shay was referring to, the elevation of low white, maybe you could extend some of your materiality just to accentuate some of the elements around there. Otherwise, I'll pass on to my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Karen.
Hi there. Thanks for the presentation. I really don't have too much else to add that hasn't already been said. I kind of echo just the feeling of the windows and the materiality, and how linear and white the building is. So yeah, that's pretty much all I really have to add to that. But happy to see some density in the area. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment.
Thanks, Karen. Neil.
Likewise, not a lot to add. All I'll say is I think you've gone through a lot of effort, which is really admirable, in looking at all the sort of design precedents in the area. But I think you also, you're identifying so many of them. There's a lot here. So just be a good, strong building. And I think you've generally done that. So no major concerns. I'll pass it on to David.
Appreciate it. Thank
you. Yeah, thanks for your presentation. I have no other questions of clarification. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
David, Raj. Raj? Is he still here? You're on mute.
You guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. I'm just curious. You made a comment there about the flat roof providing some sort of a stormwater management functionality. Can you elaborate on that? I'm just curious. Is there any, roof garden or some sort of
No. We don't have a roof garden, sorry. It's just that because in our stormwater calculations, we will need some to hold some water on site before we can release it. Bonding, basically.
Well, the 1 and 1 under your pond, we'll take some of that on the roof.
Yeah.
We'll actually store some of that on the roof to slowly feed down into the storm system because we don't have any areas on the site to actually pond. So we'll use the roof like a parking lot in a bigger project that ponds it for the 1 in 100-year storm.
Okay, thanks. That's the only question I had.
Thanks, Raj.
Just to continue on that comment of rooftop garden, our parquet garden will be almost like a rooftop garden.
But on the parquet.
The one on the parquet, all the landscaping in the front.
Yeah.
Greg, you're up.
Thank you for your presentation. I have no additional comments that what's been talked about already. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Greg. Mindy?
Thanks, Craig. Thank you very much for your presentation. I have to say, I love the community library. I think that's a really lovely addition. I very much appreciated the very comprehensive response to the urban design principles. And like many others, I don't have anything further to add beyond what's already been said. So that's it for me. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Mindy. That leaves just me. The only thing I want to focus on is the front entrance. It just seems to be a little bit lost, and I don't know if it's just the kind of the doors chosen in the rendering or the elevation, or kind of a punch window next to the glazing. It just doesn't kind of read as strongly as it could. And the other thing that kind of right there as well is it's right next to that patio. So I don't know if there's any buffer, a small landscape. Obviously, you'll need a privacy screen, but you can provide any separation there, a landscape planner or something similar. It might be nice to keep that patio a little bit more private. Sorry, is that a full wall? Like
it is a full wall.
Okay. Maybe it's just the materiality that threw me. Yeah. And then I think kind of, I can't remember who else mentioned it. Just try to bring a little bit materiality to that west side and north side, even a little bit might be helpful to make the building a little bit more cohesive. I find the south elevation kind of quite strong and good materials you've chosen. Other than that, I have no real concerns of the project, other than perhaps the proximity of the patios, and I think just the one or the two patios on the west side as well to the property line. I believe you're into your setback a little bit.
No, I believe
no, we changed the patios. This one is gone.
Okay.
So we have a clear setback everywhere required.
Okay, perfect. And that was it. That's all I had. Thank you so much for your presentation. We will now transition to the deliberation portion of the meeting. You're welcome to stay on the call. We just ask that you do not participate in the roundtable portion of questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Who wants to kick us off while I find a window here?
I'll say a few words, Craig. I think overall is a good development. I think there's just a level of refinement that maybe needs to be looked at. I think we heard some people talk about the use of material use, and even the landscape design to maybe better sort of define and complement the building. And I know that a number of people talked about the main entrance as a main item that maybe needs to be refined and punched out a little bit more so that it has a little bit more prominence. And I also feel that there could be a bit more refinement around those ground floor patio areas, and the amenity area as well, to further enhance sort of the form and function of those edges and those spaces.
I think you wrapped that up well, David. The only thing I would,
thank you, Nick.
the only thing I'd add would be we didn't really get into the lighting and how that could be used to maybe enhance some of the perspectives, just particularly around the entrance feature. But I think all the others, I think it's just a materiality and some movement that needs to happen that I think we're covering. So thank you.
Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion of support. There you go. Just
I'll second it, Nick.
Yeah, I think the points there are reflective of what we talked about. Any thoughts from anyone else?
No, I think it looks good.
Okay, let's move on to voting here. So for the motion of support as shown on the screen, Janice?
Support.
Shay?
Support.
Nick?
Support.
Karen?
Support.
Neil?
Support.
David? David?
Yeah, I said support.
Raj?
Can you hear me?
I did that time. Raj?
Support.
Greg?
Support.
Mindy?
Support.
And Craig, support. I believe they're still on the call, so thank you. You'll be receiving your written notice in 48 hours.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of the evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we good to leave or?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you for all that.
Okay, next item is other business, D1 work planning update.
Okay, we'll keep this fairly short here. There's 3 items that I just want to really quickly touch on. One of them is administration is in the process of drafting the bylaw amendment, which includes the new geographic boundary and the list of projects that can be exempted. So we have been doing a bit of work with the subcommittee on this, and I think our goal would be to have something back to them by the end of this month. And then we can take that to you folks in September to have some conversations on. The next item is the exit survey. So that's sitting with our comms people. And we were hoping to have that ready to go today, but obviously we don't. So when we meet on, I think it's the 19th, that should be ready to share with everybody who presents to the committee. Then the last thing, just following up on our last meeting around training, we've started something akin to a database that just includes some training that we have available and some other resources. So we will share this out with you, and we will keep populating it. You can add things. It'll just be sort of a running, evolving collection of resources related to the various items, the various principles that you folks have identified as part of your review. So that's the update.
Thank you. Item D.2 is a quorum discussion. I'll take this one. So as the subcommittee is finalizing the standards and procedures document, we wanted to address a couple items that administration has noted some challenges with lately. So just wanted to take a few minutes to open a discussion around quorum and attendance. This isn't about pointing fingers or identifying individual situations. It's about looking at how we as a group want to approach this going forward in a way that's fair to applicants and respectful of everyone's time, including Ashley and the admin team. This can kind of certainly have the potential to affect the reputation of the committee. So one of the questions that has come up is around how much notice should be expected for regrets. Currently, the general practice is 24 hours in advance, but there's a view that this may not provide enough time for staff or fellow members to adjust. So as a starting point for discussion, one suggestion is to ask that regrets be submitted by noon on the Friday before the meeting whenever possible. This doesn't account for emergencies, of course, but it might give more predictability in most cases. So I'd be interested to hear how people feel about that. So I'll pause here to kind of open up the floor for discussion. Any thoughts?
So Craig.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Nick. I will
No, you
raise
go.
my hand as well.
You go, David. I'll let you go.
So sorry, Craig. I'm a little lost in this quorum discussion. So, before we sign off here, and also people know well in advance when we have our meetings, but when we sign off here, we'll all be asking for conflicts and regrets for the August 19th meeting. Are we now saying that people are not providing their regrets at 2 weeks in advance? I don't know how a week in advance would make any difference.
Can I maybe just field this as the past chair, just to give some context? So we've noticed that there's a trend, David, of people, life happens, things come up, but doing it last minute, of sending an email on Monday afternoon saying, hey, I now have a regret for tomorrow's meeting. So what we're trying to say by this is, we still want regrets at the current meeting for next meeting, but up until noon of Friday before the next meeting, if you do have a foreseeable regret, to let us know sooner, because that's when we get the roll call emails going out. And then everyone scrambles.
But that doesn't address the issue of meeting quorum and setting up this bad aura of us not being attentive enough. I'm not really too sure. I'm not really understanding what the difference is between a week in advance. Like, it's still going to end up putting us potentially not meeting quorum, and then there's a week to scramble to try and resolve that. As I said, I'm just not following.
So are you basically saying we're sticking to today, the 2 weeks? ultimately, right?
Well, I just don't see the difference between people being at this meeting and saying, yes, I'm going to be there or not be there, versus a week from now saying, well, yeah, I said I was going to be there, but now I'm not going to be there. Like, yeah, I just, yeah, I'm not really understanding, but
I think that's what we are seeing, and I think that time frame is getting tighter and tighter to the meeting, and
Right.
so we're trying to put the hard deadline a little sooner.
Nick has his hand up.
Nick, try to pay more attention to the hands being raised. Be a better chair. Go ahead, Nick.
Hopefully you can hear me. I just want to share, I had a situation with work where day before a client came and we got put into a rather awkward position. And so I had to cancel out on the meeting. So, you know, it wasn't intentional, but those things come up sometimes, which, you know, if you're in consultancy, sometimes you can't avoid those situations. They're unpredictable. So that's the only exception. Otherwise, I mean, I'm generally pretty good at trying to do that, but there's always circumstances that do come up for everybody that can create that situation. We are voluntary in what we're doing. So I just wanted to share that, because if that's the situation, I mean, unfortunately, I've got to, you know, I employ people. I got to keep them employed, and clients are important to the work we do. That unfortunately conflicted with the one situation that I had.
I think just for as an administration, leading up to the meeting, knowing that we're getting close to having a quorum issue is really, really helpful, and we can be more mindful. And I think by setting, you know, the Friday date for the foreseeable just allows us to do the roll call email, to be able to check quorum, and then be able to reach out to applicants if we have to cancel the meeting in advance on a Friday versus Tuesday morning having to reach out to an applicant.
I mean, it's not anything we're going to solve tonight, but just wanted to start the discussion. Yeah, Neil?
Well, yeah, just to, I think, to echo Janice, I think we all recognize that things happen. But as a general principle, I think that's been the heads up from admin that this has become a bit of a challenge, and we want to make sure that we sort of address it. So even the shift to Friday makes a lot of sense to me. And then being more mindful, I think, is going to have a big bonus. But I also kind of see David's point, right? Like, oh, it's if we're challenged, we're challenged. A couple days here and there. I do think, though, this would be a better step forward.
So then, I guess, kind of building on this, another area for discussion is how we manage situations when we're at risk of not meeting quorum, especially with respect to applicants. So one thought that's been raised is that we consider offering a special meeting, ideally within a week, if an applicant is impacted by a quorum issue. This would be, instead of simply rescheduling them to the next regular meeting, again, just one possible approach. So interested in hearing other thoughts or concerns.
I'm open to that, Craig. I think we've done that already, where we, because of holidays or something, we moved it to a Thursday. So, but I'm always open to the idea of some flexibility. It's always coordinating with everybody on the team.
Peter.
Just to add to that, and Nick, you're quite right, but it's also coordinating with the applicants as well.
Yeah, no, I understand that, Peter.
There's a lot of balls to juggle when we have to reschedule.
Yep. And I don't think that's the intent. I think what Craig's saying, if that's an option, I mean, like I say, it can be challenging. We'll have circumstances that we have to meet, but overall, yeah, it's a challenging one.
Because as we if we simply just push it to the next meeting, we run the risk of impacting those teams' timelines, and then we also run the risk of having really full meetings. If we start to have 3-4 applicants per meeting, it just might not be feasible to bump them to the next meeting. Anyone else? Any other thoughts?
Where's the idea? Can we reduce quorum? Oh,
No,
Peter?
no.
All right.
Quorum is quorum. It's you have 12 people on your committee, and so quorum is 7 people.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, and that doesn't change if you have if someone leaves the committee. It doesn't change, unfortunately.
So it's still always 7. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Okay.
I have had to do that on other boards, though, Greg. That's good strategy. The other thing that's kind of related is the question of arriving late or early, which can also impact quorum. Something we may want to consider in future procedural updates. I don't have any ideas myself on that kind of right now. But again, I don't expect us to land on any final decisions today. The goal is to start a conversation, gather input, and then shape a path over the next while that works for all of us. Anyone else? Did I miss anything? Peter, Janice, Neil, the vice chairs.
No, I don't think so. It's more about awareness than anything.
Agreed.
Okay, that's all I had. That's all I had on that one. We're ready to move to item E, upcoming applications, conflicts, and regrets for the August 19th meeting. We have 2 projects. One, the city project. Oh, sorry, Nick.
Sorry, I was just going to say I have a conflict with Main Street Towers, so I won't be able to participate in those.
On the first one, the city one.
I don't think that's a city one. The Main Street Tower Parkade.
Oh, sorry. First one.
Yep.
I don't know why I saw that as the header of the table. Sorry, 3, not 2. Raj?
Yeah, I won't be able to attend the next 2 meetings. Actually, I'm going away.
Janice, do you have a conflict with this? You will not be attending the next meeting, Janice.
Yeah, so I do have a conflict with the one, but I am on vacation. If quorum is a concern for the other applicant, I could potentially call in.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a conflict on that day as well too. But if needed, I can be for the first 2. Conflict starts at 7.
Sorry, do you have conflict with the project or a time constraint?
Time constraint. I have
Okay.
to at like 6:30, so I can get to a meeting at 7.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. There's no other conflicts or regrets. We can move to item F, adjournment. We'll adjourn the meeting at 6:33 p.m. and the next meeting being Tuesday, August 19th at 4 p.m. Thank you, everyone.
Have a nice evening, all.
Good night, everyone.
See you.
Right.
Everyone, thanks, Greg.